Playing FPS games with teammates that are bad at aiming, shooting, taking objectives, listening to orders, following simple instructions, listening to callouts, giving callouts, all of those things and more can be incredibly frustrating in any FPS game, but more so in games like Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, or Squad, or Arma, games like Verdun and Tannenberg. People not listening, people not being helpful is frustrating, and when you're experienced at the game, it can be even more frustrating. Because when you understand and take the time to learn a game, you also just kind of get an understanding of what not to do. So when you see people on your team doing those things, it's just, frustrating is actually a pretty tame word. It's more infuriating, rage-inducing, rage-quit-worthy, when you know to not do certain things, and everyone on your team only seems to be doing those things. That being said, I have a huge problem with micromanagement, anti-noob friendly, toxic people in these games. I do have an example to show you if I can find the footage, but for the most part, I don't really want to put anybody on blast for this, so we're going to mostly be talking about this as a concept or as a stereotype, and not so much, I hate this person. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is, just because you're a squad leader or put in some sort of tactical position like squad leader or team leader or whatever it might be, just because you are, does not mean that you need to micromanage everyone in the game. Some people require micromanagement, but some people are just stuck in this micromanagement state of mind every time they play, and it's incredibly irritating to have someone always on everybody's ass. Their mic is constantly lit up, they always have an order, they always have a suggestion, they always have something to say, and yeah, it's good to be an active leader in those positions, but you can't be so demanding to every single person on every single thing throughout entire matches, especially since these types of hardcore military simulator type shooters, they have long matches. You know, it's not 10-20 minutes of you barking, it's like 45 minutes to an hour, and it's incredibly irritating. This isn't basic training. You really don't need to be proving to everyone around you how good of a leader you can be, because you're gonna just end up irritating everyone around you, because you're not giving anyone mic room to even make a joke, to goof off, to talk about anything else. You're not giving people any room to learn or find things out for themselves, or to explore the game, or to enjoy it. I'm already predicting some comments, so let me clarify. Certain situations do require some heavy squad leader interference. You know, a lot of chatter, a lot of coordination, a lot of micromanagement, sure. But some people do this all the time, okay? They're just constantly talking to people. It's one of my least favorite things in Squad, is you have squad leaders talking to other squad leaders, and they're always demanding something from other squad, their own squad members, and everyone around in proximity chat. They're just constantly fucking talking. Like, they can't stop. There's a certain point when you're being counterproductive, because you're not going to be able to, in your head, keep track of all of these things you're doing. So pick specific times and specific places to kind of flex your leadership. And if you're just butthurt and put off because the last couple of squads you led or teams you led just fucked up, don't just keep being put into a leader position and then take it out on people that weren't in your previous matches. Oh, I just led the worst squad, so I'm not going to put up with anything from you guys. Well, fuck off. Go play at a different squad then, or don't lead. Okay, if you're sick of people not meeting your standards, maybe I don't give a fuck about your standards. Okay, I wasn't in those previous matches. If you talk to me like an idiot, I'm not going to respect you. You have to remember, these games are about having fun first. Okay, these aren't basic training. They are an extension of your service time. They are not actual combat scenarios. Okay, it's a competitive video game. Even Arma is a video game. Okay, it's a military simulator. It's a video game. We play them to have fun. We play them for escapism purposes. If you are actually trying to practice for some sort of actual military role, don't expect anyone else around you to have that same mentality. These types of people also go to Nerf and Airsoft events as well, and paintball events. They're just absolutely toxic. And what's sad is that they don't really seem to want to be toxic. They are just so ready for that type of leadership position that they get overbearing and they get heavy-handed and whatever. We'll move on to the next point here. Constantly telling people to do something is not beneficial. The problem with this type of leadership strategy is just, hey, do it. I already know what's supposed to be done. Even the dumbest player in the server, if they heard you or they've played the game before, then they know what to do. This is you flexing your ego. This is you thinking everyone around you is too stupid to do it on their own. If you assume people are so dumb that they need to be told 20 plus times to do one thing, then there's something wrong with you. Yes, there are people like that, but unless somebody shows themselves to have this type of mental shortcoming, you really need to not talk to everyone around you like your children. When you're playing hardcore military shooters on PC, you're likely not playing with 12-year-olds. These are very niche games for more mature audiences. Don't talk to everyone like they're fucking children just because you're worried some of them might have some sort of mental deficiency that you seem to think you need to compensate for with extra orders, as if someone that's stupid is going to be benefited by you constantly running your mouth. The other problem with this is that a lot of people, squad leaders, medics, support gunners, whatever they might be, I don't care, whatever game it might be, even if they're not in a position of power, they ask for things in these types of games. They talk to other people and they demand things without really taking into consideration what that other player is going through. One of my first experiences playing squad, I unfortunately don't have the footage anymore, but playing squad all the way back in 2017, I had a really bad experience with a squad leader which would demand me to go out and pick up everybody and heal everybody. I was playing as the medic, go pick people up and go heal them when they were getting shot. Like their dead bodies had bullets flying over them, there was no cover, and he kicked me from the squad because I said, I'm not going out there, I'm going to die, I don't have any smoke grenades, and even if I did, they're way too danger close, this is not gonna be a thing, no. And they called me a shitty medic because I wouldn't go out there into live fire and get myself killed. And so I stayed in cover, healing everybody that was coming back to the cover and healing everyone that I could get to, based that I wasn't helping the squad and I was spending more time helping randoms. So not taking into account the situation and just making demands is a dumb way to play these types of games. Like seriously, if you don't have enough patience to deal with other people's situations and you can't take into account what someone else is telling you, you tell them to do something and they say they can't. If your first instinct is well, of course you can, you're just being ridiculous, then again, play a different type of game. You don't have the patience and you don't have the ability to be in someone else's shoes, even if just for a second, to see if maybe there's some validity to what they're claiming, then you belong somewhere else. I've been told by a squad leader that I had once, and for the most part, she was really cool. But there was a point where, and this is just kind of going to become my litmus test for squad leaders, she asked me and 3 other people to push down the hill into an objective, and when I said we were under fire, she said that, I got down here just fine, so push down, chop chop, basically. And I was like, look, that's not how gunfire works, that's not how enemy fire works. Okay, they'll fire various amounts of ammunition at different times. So just because they didn't pin you down or halt your progress doesn't mean they aren't halting mine. And maybe you got lucky and you ran right through enemy fire. That doesn't mean I'm gonna go gamble and just I hope he misses again. That's just not how I like to do things. That's how most people don't like to do things in a game where it's each death brings your team closer to losing. Especially if I'm dying out in the middle of in the open by a machine gun or a sniper or just, distant fire. No one's going to be able to come and revive me, so maybe just not a good idea. That's how I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at the whole situation and the possibilities and all the ways it could go wrong, so I'm thinking I'm going to play a little bit more safe and wait for this fire to calm down and maybe return fire and get some smoke grenades out. And nope, she was very impatient, and this type of thing is so prevalent. It's the most prevalent thing. I mostly think that these games have really nice communities that want to work together, or at the very least just have some stupid fun. And that's my personal experience, okay? Maybe you have a different one, but that's my experience. But the types of people that just don't care about your situation or what you're doing, or they don't take into account your skill level. That's a big one. They don't take into account, you're new at the game? Too bad. They don't care about you. It's all them. It's their struggle for power. It's their ego. It's their flexing. It's trying to make their dick look bigger than everyone else's. It's okay to just admit that you're wrong. It's okay to be patient. It's okay to give people time. Like, I usually have a little gauge in my head. It's like, I asked you to do this thing and you didn't do it about a minute ago. So, like, it's been a while. What hasn't changed? Like, that's something that kind of gets annoying when certain amounts of time fly by, or when you ask someone for something and they give you attitude, or you tell them something and they just ignore it and then complain later and you're like, well, I told you, and you're like, oh, I didn't hear you. Like, that kind of shit's annoying, and that needs to be kind of dealt with on a moment-to-moment basis. But at the same time, chew people's asses all you want, but it is a video game at the end of the day. And it's always going to be a video game. Even during One Life tactical MILSIM events, okay, it's always a video game. And if you're not willing to be kind to new players and just players in general, if you're not willing to be patient, if you're not willing to treat other people as if they're intelligent first and then adjust later if they prove otherwise, then go play a different goddamn game. Because as much as I love these games and their communities, this shit is so goddamn overdone. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's just overdone. It feels constant and always, and it just sucks. And it doesn't make the game more fun for anyone. And see, I don't put up with people's shit, but some new players are just going to stop playing. They're just gonna feel like dumbasses. They're just gonna feel down on themselves. They're gonna feel like, oh, maybe this game's just too hard for me because apparently I can't do anything right, and they're gonna be done playing. And that's not what these games need. These games need more players, and this will only hurt these games. This type of attitude will only hurt these types of games if we continue to let this type of behavior fly. We don't need to get into arguments about it. We don't need to ruin matches over it. But just call it out where you see it in a way that's respectful, and also talk to the person like they're an adult, how you would like to be talked to if you were doing something wrong. Find a funny way to do it, or find a nice way to do it, or just find a straight up, no bullshit, no nonsense way of saying it, and maybe that's what we need to do with these types of players. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. I've heard from several people in my comment section and in stream chats and stuff that they've kind of avoided these types of games because the community acts in the negative way I just talked about. But really, that's unfortunate because there's so many better players. I think these types of players are outliers, honestly, but you know, just switch squads, join different servers. I really recommend not letting these people bring you down. I know it sucks to try to get into a hard game, a more tactical, hardcore game, and just have someone shit on you because you're not as good as them. And they get that superiority complex, or they get that kind of elitist tone. It's frustrating, and they get demanding. And okay, so anyway, I'm kind of rambling now. I haven't rambled like that at the end of a video in a while, but either way, that's the end of my rant. That's the end of my tangent, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye. Oh, he sees me. I like Tannenberg. I'm actually liking Tannenberg quite a bit. This is quite a bit of fun. Right now I have this little vendetta against somebody that's just peeking a little trench over here. And I want to see if I can make his life just a teensy bit of hell. But I think now he has a beat on me. Got him. Oh, I saw his hat. I don't like that you can head glitch in this game, I will say that.